Boxing on YouTube, as well as M. Abrams Boxing on Twitter and Marc Abrams Boxing on Instagram. Hello, boxing fans. Welcome to the latest edition of the Abrams Boxing Show. I am Marc Abrams. This week we'll get back to more of a normal show where we have some news and the results and the fights for this week. Plus, we have a terrific interview with undefeated heavyweight Stephen Shaw, who headlines this Saturday night live on ESPN against Efe Ajagba. That fight will be from the Turning Stone Resort Casino in Verona, New York. Let's get right down to the results. Last Saturday night in Washington, D.C., I was there. Over 19,700 people got to witness Gervonta Davis retain his WBA lightweight championship with a ninth-round stoppage over Hector Luis Garcia. Davis now 28-0, 26 knockouts. Garcia, who's the WBA 130-pound champion, was moving up in weight, now 16-1, 10 knockouts. What a great atmosphere. This kid is an absolute draw. 6 consecutive sellouts, I believe, for Gervonta Davis. He looked good for the most part. Garcia, who's a good fighter, got some work done. Boxing, working well, landing some body shots. But it was 2 big left hands in round 8 that really hurt Garcia. He stumbled back, went back to the corner, said he couldn't see. Fight stopped. 19,731 people were there. Pay-per-view, Showtime pay-per-view audience. Now Davis should be lined up to fight Ryan Garcia sometime this spring. It could be April, could be May. We'll see what happens with Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis, as that looks like it's going to happen sometime in the next few months. It's going to be a mega fight. I can't wait. I'll be there for that. It's going to be a great fight. And I actually like Ryan Garcia. I'm right now, I'm not making a prediction, but I think he's, a lot of people who think that Davis may run right through him. I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be a great fight, great event. When and most likely in Vegas, where it will happen. The co-feature saw 147-pounder Jaron Boots Ennis capture the IBF interim welterweight championship with a 12-round unanimous decision over Karan Chakazian. Scores were 120-108 on every card. Ennis, he's looked so good in all of his fights leading up to this one. Didn't get the knockout. It was the first one in 19 fights that he did not get the knockout. And you see this stuff on Twitter. Fans are like, maybe he's not that good and this, that, the other. First of all, Chakazian, maybe he's a little bit better than what, was advertised. That's number one. Everyone thinks he's an unheralded guy coming in, from Kiev, Ukraine. And, not a bad fighter is Chakazian. He also had a style where he wasn't looking to get knocked out. He did not engage much. He engaged a little bit here, a little bit there, and Ennis got the decision. Hopefully, we'll get some bigger fights for Jaron Boots Ennis as the the next couple months. One guy who could be on the short list for his next opponent will be Roman Villa. Villa, who scored an improbable come from behind a 12-round majority decision over previously undefeated Rashidi Ellis on the card. Scores for 113-113 and 114-112 twice for Villa, who scored 2 knockdowns in the 12th round to get the decision. Disputed, maybe a little bit controversial. I wouldn't say controversial, as I thought the 2 knockdowns on my unofficial card gave Villa the decision. Kicking off the pay-per-view was 2-division world champion Demetrius Andrade, scored an easy one-sided decision, scored a couple knockdowns over Damon Nicholson, 100-88 on all 3 cards. Earlier in the week, Melvin Jerusalem went to 22, notched his 12th knockouts. He scored a mild upset by stopping WBO middleweight champion Masataka Taniguchi, who's now 16-4 with 11. One shot, round 2 of their fight in Osaka, Japan. On the same card, IBF middleweight champion Daniel Valderas went to 26-3-1 as he 26-3-1 as he retained his belt with a no decision, as there was an accidental headbutt with challenger Jinjo Shingaoka. Shingaoka 8-0-1, no decision. Valderas 26-3-1 with 1 no decision. This week, a couple fights on ESPN Plus. Friday night, ESPN Plus present a fight from Canada that will feature WBC female light flyweight champion Kim Clavel, 16-0, 3 knockouts. She'll take on Jessica Neri Palata, the WBA champ. So that's going to be a unification bout in the light flyweight division. Neri Palata, 28-2, 3 knockouts. That's going to be a 10-round fight. Saturday night at the Turning Stone Resort in Verona, New York, heavyweights. Efe Ajagba, 16-1. 13 knockouts. He will take on Stephen Shaw, 18-0, 13 knockouts. Also, the co-feature will pit Guido Villanella, 10-0 and 1, 9 knockouts. Take on Johnny Rice, 15-6 and 1, 10 knockouts. I had a chance this week to catch up with the undefeated Big Shot Shaw, and this is a terrific interview, and this is how it went. Shaw, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm good, Marc. How are you, man? I'm good. Just finished up a good training session, man. Closing touches on training camp. Ready to rock and roll, man.
So you get the call. You originally were supposed to fight Guido Villanello and in the co-feature bout. Then you get the call that I'm trying to think, who was Ajagba supposed to fight that got hurt?
Supposed to fight Oscar Rivas.
Oscar Rivas, who got hurt, and you were already on the card, and I guess you were the natural first call, and you took the fight. Tell us about the thought process and kind of starting to train for Guido, then looking towards Ajagba.
Yeah, man, I was in camp getting ready for Guido Villanello, like you said, as the co-main event, and I guess I was, like you said, I was the first option, and I took the opportunity because I felt like Ajagba, he's a one-dimensional fighter. We know he's a puncher, but I consider myself a puncher as well. But I'm not just a one-dimensional guy that you can just consider just a puncher. I'm a boxer puncher or a puncher boxer. You know what I mean? I could do it all in there. You know what I mean? And I felt good. I felt great about the opportunity. You know what I mean? I didn't hesitate because, to be honest, I think that they didn't want me to fight Guido in the first place. You know what I mean? I think they would rather me fight Ajagba. You know what I mean? And I took the opportunity.
You're one of those guys who's kind of been at the top of the prospect list in terms of the heavyweight division for the last couple of years. Biding your time, you've been increasing your quality of opposition, and now Ajagba, who's a pretty big name in the heavyweight division, big puncher, has fought on some high profile cards. How long have you been waiting for this kind of fight for you to kind of get you through the door to the next level?
Man, I've been waiting for some years now, man. I've been waiting for some years. You know what I mean? I never had that opportunity to really just be marketed on TV just to get the, masses familiar with who I am. But as boxing, then you heard of me, you know what I mean? And I feel like this is my coming out party, you know what I mean? And I'm ready to seize the moment against Ajagba. I feel like Ajagba, he's a former Olympian. Him and Guido actually fought in the same Olympics. You know what I mean? It's the same type of level of competition, I feel. You know what I mean? It's just that Ajagba is considered more of a puncher. But when you look at Villanello's record, he's knocked out 9 of his 10 opponents. You know what I mean? You could definitely say that Ajagba has faced better competition than Guido. And, yeah, man.
Speaking of that, and it's a good segue. His last fight when he fought, or 2 fights ago when he fought Frank Sanchez and lost that fight. Sanchez, not trying to compare you guys, but you guys are similar where you guys both can do some, well-rounded things. Sanchez, he can punch and box just like yourself. Is that, kind of like a blueprint, for what you may be trying to do on Saturday night without giving too much away?
I mean, that's definitely, we can say that's definitely a blueprint on how to beat Ajagba because he has been defeated. There's no blueprint on how to beat me. So I feel like he's gonna come in there and just trying to land a big right hand, and I feel like that's a mistake because I'm not gonna let a one-handed fighter beat me. I got the skills to pay the bills, and I'm about to take him to school.
Do you see this fight as Sunday morning? Sunday morning, are we gonna be saying I know, obviously, I know you're now co-promoted Top Rank in DeBella, and they're pushing Jared Anderson a lot. are we going to be saying Sunday morning, yeah, they got Jared Anderson, but, Stephen Shaw is, right there with him as well? Is that kind of what the goal is, for the water cooler talk to be on Sunday and Monday?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely feel like that should be the talk. I feel like Jared, he hasn't fought anybody to the caliber of an Ajagba. You know what I mean? He's only fought I feel like his biggest win was against his last fight against Jerry Forrest.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Forrest isn't some Olympian. They're not putting him up against some punching, hard hitting Olympian. Guys with that kind of caliber behind them. So I definitely feel like that my name should be definitely in the talks. You know what I mean? And it should be in the, after beating Ajagba, it should be in the talks to, cracking in the top 10 of the world. You know what I mean? Because when Frank Sanchez defeated Ajagba, he was catapulted to the top 10. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is a great opportunity for me for all of those very reasons.
That fight was a decision. You feel, especially if you get the stoppage victory, that your flag should be really planted in the top 10 because of what you said, because of what Sanchez do. If you look more impressive, you feel that you even should maybe replace Sanchez or leapfrog him.
Yes, all of the above, all of that, great, man. All of that sounds great, man. You know what I mean? My biggest thing is just to go out there and stay sharp. You know what I mean? Be poised about what I do and be precise and be vicious. You know what I mean? And box smart. You know what I mean? And the true art of boxing is to hit and not get hit. To hit a guy, and to minimize the capabilities of him hitting you in return. It's not just to sit there chest to chest or nose to nose and go blow for blow. But I'm ready for it all. If I have to do that, then so be it. You know what I mean? I'm prepared for it all. You know what I mean? I've been knocking out guys in training camp, and I'm ready. And if the knockout presents itself Saturday night, I'm definitely going to take it.
I feel the new wave of heavyweights, it's a little bit underrated because obviously we got, Fury Usyk at the top and, a couple other guys. But, guys like yourself, we mentioned Jared, we mentioned Sanchez, maybe a Hrgovic, and, some of the guys who are going to be that next wave of title contenders, very underrated. You feel a lot of people, obviously, you're going to say yourself's underrated, but they kind of like that whole grouping of the guys who are shooting for those next title shots. You maybe ain't got the ink that they deserve?
I feel like it's the whole entire heavyweight division is underrated. The heavyweight division is hot. They talk about all of the smaller fighters, but when you think about all of the guys that's in the top 10 of the heavyweight divisions, the heavyweight division is like 10 guys or 7 guys up under that's capable of being a world champions or world title contenders. You know what I mean? I feel like the whole entire heavyweight division is hot.
Real quick, I just want to go back. I was just thinking of another question, kind of back to one of my questions. How quickly did it take you to say yes after the change came? I
said yes instantly. Yeah, I said yes instantly. I didn't hesitate. You know what I mean? I feel like, outside. I didn't get in this sport to be intimidated by no one, and I'm not intimidated by no one. I didn't grow up like that. You know what I mean? I'm a man. I put on my 2 shoes just like he puts on his 2 shoes. I'm going to die one day, and he's going to die one day. You know what I mean? So he's nothing indestructible. You know what I mean? He can bleed, he can hurt, and he has been down more than once. So, you know what I mean? It's a lot of unexpectancy. It's a lot of suspicion when it comes to Stephen Big Shot Shaw. And a lot of people want to see it with a guy like Ajagba. But like you say, man, like I say, I'm definitely prepared, you know what I mean, to show the world who I am. And I'm looking to come out of that fight victorious and an impressive victory.
Couple more questions. Stephen Shaw, as you mentioned, co-promoted, DeBella Entertainment, Top Rank, managed by Split Team Management. I believe you're training out in the West Coast. How? I mean, I know you're from St. Louis. Has this been normal for you to go out west, or is this kind of something you? Okay, so you have had most of your camps out west.
Yeah, I've been having my training camps in San Diego. Before I was with DeBella, before I was with Split T, before I was with Top Rank, you know what I mean? I've been coming out to San Diego since 2015. You know what I mean? A lot of things have just transpired as far as getting on a regimen, a strength and conditioning regimen every day back home in St. Louis as like a certain type of maintenance program, and to, you know, lose the baby fat that I had on me, you know what I mean, and chisel up and trim up to a full-fledged, you know, contender, soon to be champion.
You're going from probably some of the greatest weather in the United States to Verona, New York, where can get pretty cold in January. I'm sure you're aware of that. So
yeah, but you know, like I say, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and
you get some of that. Yeah,
it can get to below zero. It can get to 10 degrees. You know what I mean? So I'm not afraid of no cold weather. You know what I mean? I got my skull cap on as we speak. I got coats. I'm ready. I just fought in New York, so you know what I mean? I'm no stranger to the cold weather.
You just made me hungry for a fish taco too. So all the time you spent out in San Diego, I'm sure you've had one or two in your day, right?
Yeah, man. They have some great they have a bunch of great restaurants.
Yes, they do. They do.
San Diego's a great facility, a great area to train in. You know, it's a great city to train in. And I'm in an Airbnb right now in Point Loma, not too far from my boxing gym. And I've been getting it in, man. I've been training great. I've had some sparring partners fly in, you know, drive in, and I've been looking spectacular in the gym. So I can't wait to put it all together and be victorious Saturday night. Like I say, I got my family. I got family coming from St. Louis. I got family coming from, you know, all over to watch me do my thing. So I can't disappoint, and I'm not going to disappoint. And I got my sons and my wife, my mother, you know, my father, you know, he's always with me. He's actually here with me, assisting me in my training camp. So I'm ready to rock and roll, Marc.
The little off-topic question: you ever run into Canelo when you're in San Diego? See, he does all of his camps out there now.
Yes. I actually ran into Canelo when I was getting ready for the Jermaine Frankman fight. And me and Frank Sanchez, we actually boxed 14 or 15 rounds. You know what I mean? And and I think it was like 14 rounds. The first day we did about 6 rounds, and then the next day we did about 8 rounds. And I was pretty much doing what I wanted with him. You know what I mean? I remember around like the 4th or 5th round, you know, this is when Frank Sanchez was still with my man Canelo's trainer. Reynoso, Eddie. And he was with Eddie, and they asked, you know, Canelo was there. You know, Canelo was like, he's a good boxer. You know what I mean? And they was asking, you know, how many rounds you guys gonna do? 6? My coach Bashir, he was like, we trying to get 8. And this was like in between one of the rounds, like the 5th round. And Canelo said, go 8 rounds. He needs this. You know, speaking to Frank, you know, speaking about Frank, how Frank needed that work that I was giving him, because I was giving him some work, giving him that real good work.
What's that mean to you when, you know, Canelo is who he is? He's, you know, one of the great fighters of the past, you know, our generation. And, you know, he gives you, and I know, you know, it's very important when other fighters, you know, give props to other fighters, but obviously he's at the top of the game, and you get the approval from the top dog in the game.
Oh man, that was just that was a great moral victory.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That was just confirmation on who I know I am, you know, on what I feel about myself, and just to hear, you know, a great fighter as Canelo, you know, say that and give me that praise. You know what I mean? I felt good about it. I felt very good about it.
Well, we'll let you go. Just one last thing. 2 last questions. What do you want to say to the fans in closing before we let you go?
Tune in January 14th, this Saturday, man. I'm ready to rock and roll. you know what I mean, tune in and watch an ascending heavyweight, you know, be victorious as myself, you know, Stephen Big Shot Shaw, man. This is not going to be the last time y'all see me. You know what I mean? You're going to see a lot of me in the near future. And like I said before, I'm looking to become world champion soon and get an opportunity to fight the champions. But, you know, first things first is Efe Ajagba. And like I say, tune in. All my people from St. Louis, tune in. And I appreciate all of the support. You can follow me at Big Shot Shaw on Twitter, at Big Shot Shaw on Instagram. And I fight for y'all, man. You know, I fight for y'all enjoyment, you know, but I fight to take care of my family and my children. And I'm not going to let nobody take any food out of my children's mouth. You know, this is their future. Their future is relying on me, and I take this very serious. So, again, tune in.
We're going to see a new name in the contenders column Saturday night. Stephen Shaw, we wish you best of luck. We'll talk to you along the way.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
There you have it, Stephen Big Shot Shaw this Saturday night live on ESPN, taking on Efe Ajagba. A couple news items to get to real quickly. DAZN announced that they will stream the January 21st middleweight fight between Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith. DAZN will stream it in the United States, Canada, the Dutch region, which I think is like Germany and Switzerland, and Japan. WBO Championship Committee has ordered negotiations for the junior bantamweight mandatory between Kazuta Ioka and Junto Nakatani. They've got 30 days to reach an agreement. Matchroom will kick off their 2023 UK season with a featherweight title fight between Lee Wood and Mauricio Lara. WBO regular champion, welterweight champion Amantis Stanionis is out of his March 18th fight with Virgil Ortiz for now. It's been postponed. Stanionis had a appendicitis surgery and an appendectomy. Golden Boy will kick off its 2023 schedule with the NABO welterweight title fight between Alexis Rocha, 21-1, 13 knockouts, and Anthony Juice Young. That'll be a 12-round fight on Saturday, January 28th at the YouTube Theater in Inglewood, California, and broadcast live on DAZN, or streamed live on DAZN. With the WBC Bridgeweight champion Oscar Rivas, who couldn't fight with Stephen Shaw. The Bridgeweight champion, he with his detached retina. The WBC ordered number 1 ranked Alan Babbage and number 3 ranked Lucas Razanski to vie for the vacant title with a 50-50 split. The mandatory will fight the winner of the elimination bout between Riyad Marini and Kevin Lorena, who just fought Daniel Dubois for the WBA heavyweight title. Jean Pascal is out of his February 9th fight with Michael Eifert in their IBF light heavyweight elimination bout. Fight's going to be postponed. Pascal came down with COVID. Former 2-time world champion Guillermo Regendio returns the ring on February 24th at the Hialeah Park in Florida. A couple more items. Top Rank has signed heavyweight prospect 10-0, 6 knockouts out of Poland, Damian Kanaiba, 6'7" fighter, 26 years old. Kanaiba you just fought on a Top Rank card in New York, I believe, and now will be under the Top Rank banner. Peter Kahn has signed undefeated and world-ranked junior lightweight Henry Macho LeBron, who's ranked number 7 by the WBO. He's 17-0 with 10 knockouts. LeBron, the details of his next fight be announced shortly. And finally, sad report, the passing of famed boxing trainer Hector Roque at the age of 82. I know Hector a little bit from being from he's from the New York, Brooklyn, New York area. He trained 13 world champions, including Iran Barkley and Arturo Gatti, Rogelio Tur, Buddy McGirt, and many more. He also trained Hilary Swank for the Oscar award-winning role in $1 Million Baby. I'd like to thank Stephen Shaw for joining us this week for his big fight this Saturday night against who's he fighting? He's fighting Efe Ajagba. We said it 3 times already. So join us next week. We'll have a bunch of the fighters from the Showbox fight that will be happening on January 20th in Bethlehem, PA. We'll be interviewing a couple of the guys. Lateef Overton, we already got that in the can for next week. So I hope everyone enjoys their week, enjoys the fights on this weekend on ESPN Plus.